Hi, my name's Eric. I'm going to be reading you the Fall River Reporter for today, Thursday, August 8th of 2024. The first article in the Reporter, Time for 10 with Register of Deeds Bernard J. McDonald III by Just Machado. Time for 10 is a series where we ask past and current elected officials 10 questions. Because it's an election year, we've also included candidates in our series. The 10 questions with B.J. McDonald. You've been the Register of Deeds for almost 30 years. Was there any doubt you'd be seeking another term? Talk me through the decision to stay put. The answer. I enjoy my job. There was no doubt I was going to run for re-election. I still have a lot to offer, and my experience at the registry over the past 30 years makes me the best person to continue. Serving as the Register of Deeds for 3 decades has been an incredibly fulfilling experience. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of working with a dedicated team and serving our community with a commitment to accuracy, transparency, and efficiency. I'm excited about the future and the opportunity to build on the progress we've made. Seeking another term allows me to further contribute to the initiatives and improvements we've been working on, ensuring our office remains a pillar of trust and service for the public. The second question, can you remember what you were thinking when you first ran for this position almost 3 decades ago, and what made you want to serve in this role? The answer, absolutely. It was 1994 and attorney Joseph Hannafy was retiring, so the seat was open. At the time, I was working for the city of Fall River as an assistant assessor. I was also doing some work as an appraiser and a real estate salesperson. I'd never run for office before, but I thought my work background, coupled with my facilities management degree from UMass Amherst, made me uniquely qualified for the position. It was a very competitive race. There were many very successful and qualified people that also ran. There were attorneys, real estate agents, city councilors, town selectmen. They all ran. But ultimately, I think what put me over the top was my commitment to do the job full time. I've done that since day one, and I'll continue to be your hands-on, full-time Register of Deeds when re-elected. What's the most challenging part of your job? The most challenging part of my job is when a member of our community comes to us with a problem that's beyond our control or outside the scope of what we can directly resolve. It can be frustrating because we're dedicated to helping our community, and it's difficult to see someone facing an issue that we can't directly address. However, in these situations, our staff and I focus on providing as much support and guidance as possible, whether that means pointing them towards the right resources or connecting them with someone who may be able to help. Ensuring they feel heard and supported has always been a priority of this office under my administration, even if I cannot solve their problem myself. Number 4, what's the one thing you wish everyone knew about the Registry of Deeds? And the answer from Bernard J. McDonald III, well, that there are 2 sides to the Registry of Deeds. The majority of the property in this district is recorded in what's called the recorded side. There's a small minority of properties that are recorded in what's called the registered land side. The Commonwealth's Land Court has superintendent's authority over the registered land offices in the registries of deeds. The registers of deeds are the assistant recorders of the land court. The land court specializes in resolving civil matters and disputes involving the ownership, development, and use of real property, in other words, land. The next question, are there any secret staircases or rooms in the Registry of Deeds building on North Main Street? If I told you about the secret rooms and staircases, well, they wouldn't be secret anymore. When I started at the registry, we were adjacent to the courthouse, and after the courthouse was relocated, the Children's Museum was created in that space. The Children's Museum was the brainchild of Joanne and Jack Sprague. They did an unbelievable job in recreating that space, and there is a passageway from the registry over the fire lane to the Children's Museum. Number 6. Some of your recent campaign literature talks about you serving in a full-time capacity. Your opponent has 3 personal businesses that he owns and operates: a law firm, a real estate company, and an ice vending machine company. Talk to us about why you believe this position needs your undivided attention. Thank you for bringing this up. Serving as Register of Deeds is a role that demands an elevated level of dedication and attention. Relationships matter. Being at work in the office every day is a big part of the job. You can't manage day-to-day operations while running 3 other businesses and a real estate portfolio. Speaking of your opponent's businesses, do you think it's a conflict of interest that he's a real estate agent and could potentially serve as the Register of Deeds? The answer: it's not my position to determine if it's a conflict of interest, but being fully engaged in your law business and also owning your own real estate firm could lead to some conflicts. That question should be left to the voters to decide. Do you want to elect a person who has at least 3 other business ventures and pay him a full-time salary plus benefits and be a part-time official? Or do you want to re-elect the person that's been there doing the job the right way every day with integrity, respect, honesty, and professionalism for the past 30 years? Question number 8. Your campaign kickoff event was attended by hundreds of supporters. After all these years, why do you think you have so much support from voters and residents? My family and I have been overwhelmed with the support we've received since we started this re-election campaign. I believe the strong turnout reflects the trust and relationships I've built over the years with the people in our community. I've spent my entire life in Fall River. My wife Michelle and I have raised our family here. Our grandchildren live here. We went to school here. I've coached numerous sports teams over the years, volunteered, and have been to countless fundraisers and events. I have real meaningful relationships with many people in this district. It extends outside of the walls of the Registry of Deeds. I appreciate and value the trust that people in the district have given me, which includes Fall River, Somerset, Swansea, and Freetown for over these 30 years. Do you have any goals you'd like to achieve over the next term if you're re-elected? Absolutely. I have several goals I'd like to achieve. First, I aim to further modernize our office by implementing new proven technologies to streamline processes and improve accessibility for all residents. Second, I plan to enhance our community outreach programs, ensuring everyone's aware of the services we provide and how to access them. Finally, I want to continue fostering a transparent and efficient office that residents can trust. I believe these goals will help us better serve our community and meet the evolving needs of our constituents. I respectfully ask for your vote on September 3rd. The 10th and final question. It's Saturday night. You're heading out for dinner. What's your go-to spot in Bristol County for a great meal? Well, we have a lot of go-to restaurant spots in our area, but it's election time and I can't name names right now. I'll say that we do enjoy going out to the many area restaurants because they're fantastic. My favorite local dinners include Portuguese steaks, lobster, fried clams and fried scallops, chicken, and shrimp Mozambique, and pizza. The next headline in the Fall River Reporter for August 8th, Senator Markey, in collaboration with Warren, announces $2 million to Fall River Early Education Center during a groundbreaking, by Ken Paiva. This morning, People Incorporated held a groundbreaking ceremony for its forthcoming Early Education Center located at the agency's site at 145 Weaver Street in Fall River. With the Master of Ceremonies, People Incorporated's President and CEO Megan Stirk, the event began with a song performed by several students currently enrolled in the People Incorporated preschool, and special guest speakers followed with remarks. The event concluded with the speakers, People Incorporated representatives, and the People Incorporated preschool children gathered together, everyone with shovels in hand, for the official groundbreaking ceremony. All guests enjoyed conversation and light refreshments afterwards. Guest speakers included U.S. Senator Ed Markey, State Representatives Carol Fiola and Patricia Haddad, Bay Coast Bank President and CEO Nicholas Christ, Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan, Massachusetts DPH Commissioner Dr. Robert Goldstein, Mass EEC Commissioner Amy Kershaw, and keynote speaker, Mass Secretary of Education Dr. Patrick Tutwiler. Senator Markey delivered a major announcement and a pleasant surprise during his remarks as his office, in collaboration with the office of U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, has planned an appropriation of $2 million towards the People Incorporated Early Education Center. Children may only be a quarter of our population, but they're 100% of our future. Early childhood education sets up young people and their families for lifetimes of success, said Senator Markey. I'm proud to have worked with Senator Warren to secure $2 million in a funding bill that passed in the Appropriations Committee. People Incorporated's new Early Education Center is an investment in the space, early education workforce, and young people of Fall River that will provide for generations to come. State Representative Carol Fiola added, early education is a necessity here in the Commonwealth and especially in Fall River. I commend People Incorporated leadership, staff, and volunteer board for passionately driving this project. With the support of our community, state, and federal partners, our children are the winners. And this project will be an asset to the children and families within the city of Fall River. Early childhood education is vital in a child's development. It's crucial to a child's social, developmental, and cognitive needs to start the educational process as early as possible. I highly recommend to all parents that they take advantage of these types of programs to enhance their child's early years, said Mayor Coogan. Early Education and Care Commissioner Amy Kershaw said, I was pleased to join People Incorporated today for the groundbreaking of their Early Education Center. Their beautiful future facility will serve as an example of the kind of indoor and outdoor spaces that kids, families, and educators deserve to spend time in, supporting over 200 students to learn, play, and grow in modern, high-quality, and dynamic learning environments. It was wonderful to join People Incorporated, Senator Markey, Mayor Coogan, and other state and local officials today to celebrate People Incorporated's forthcoming Early Education Center. This project's a clear example of critical partnerships and communities coming together to make sure our youngest students are experiencing classroom spaces that promote learning, growth, and positive educational experiences, making Massachusetts a better place to live, to go to school, work, raise a family, and build a better future, said Secretary of Education Dr. Patrick Tutwiler. The future 20,000 square foot state-of-the-art center will accommodate over 200 infants, toddlers, and preschoolers, and it will provide modern early childhood rooms with ample space, innovative educational technology, and a blend of both indoor and outdoor learning settings. The facility will serve as a flagship location of People Incorporated's Children's Services Division. A Phase 2 addition would increase the capacity to 300 children. People Incorporated announced in January of 2020 that they had purchased the land for the center on Weaver Street. This is quite a milestone for People Incorporated, for Fall River, and for the city's children, said Megan Stirk, President and CEO of People Incorporated. I'm so happy for our kids. They deserve all the work and dedication that's going into this center. It really is for them. Our next headline in the Fall River Reporter, a sad one from the community section. Missing 9-year-old boy found unresponsive in Rhode Island pool, by Ken Paiva. A young child was found unresponsive Wednesday afternoon. According to Pawtucket Police, at approximately 2:45 p.m., officers responded to 45 Marbury Street for the report of a missing 9-year-old male. A search of the area was conducted, at which time the child was located in a nearby pool on Oak Hill Avenue. The child was removed from the pool and found to be unresponsive. Life-saving measures were performed on the child, and he was later transported to Hasbro's ER. The name of the child has not yet been released, and the incident is currently being further investigated by detectives. The next headline From the crime section of the Fall River Reporter, Level 3 sex offender accused of exposing himself to juveniles on the highway. Several Massachusetts communities file warrants. By Ken Pava. In Whitman, Chief Timothy Hanlon reports that the Whitman Police Department arrested and charged a Hanson man, who's a Level 3 sex offender, with open and gross lewdness, following an incident where he allegedly exposed himself to juvenile victims. 59-year-old Paul St. Martin of Hanson was charged with one count of open and gross lewdness. He was arraigned on Monday, July 29th, at Brockton District Court and held on $10,000 bail and remains in custody at the Plymouth County Correctional Facility. At approximately 1:45 p.m. on Saturday, July 27th, Whitman police officer Robert Hoey, Sergeant David Gregory, and Officer Michael Combra responded to the area of Route 18 and Route 27 for a report of a man who allegedly exposed himself to two juvenile girls. Officers searched the area, but they were unable to immediately locate a suspect. Officers spoke to the juvenile victims, who reported that a man in his 50s in a white sedan with Indiana license plates pulled the vehicle next to them as they were walking down the street and exposed himself. The man then drove off when the victims noticed him. The man didn't say anything to the victims and didn't leave his vehicle. The victims immediately notified police and an investigation was launched. In reviewing video surveillance footage from the area, officers determined that the suspect vehicle was a Chevy Malibu sedan. A Be on the Lookout, or a BOLO, announcement was made to area law enforcement agencies describing the incident, the suspect, and the vehicle. The following day, Detective Paul Young received notification from a nearby police department that a similar incident had occurred in their town, and witnesses were able to obtain the vehicle's license plate. Officers determined that the vehicle had recently been rented by St. Martin and obtained his home address in Hanson. With the assistance of Hanson police, officers stopped St. Martin as he was pulling into the parking lot of his home and placed him under arrest. Through their investigation and in speaking with area police departments, officers determined that St. Martin allegedly committed similar acts in Marshfield, Braintree, and Belmont. Arrest warrants have been filed by the Marshfield and Braintree police departments. I'd like to commend our officers for their excellent police work in getting the word out about this incident and collaborating with other area law enforcement agencies to identify and arrest this suspect. We thank our law enforcement partners who assisted with this investigation, Chief Hanlon said. This type of behavior is disgusting, it's unacceptable, and it won't be tolerated in our communities. Our next headline in the Fall River Reporter, under the community section, the headline reads, Officials Announce Plymouth County Paramedic Dies While on Duty, by Ken Pava. A man who gave his life to helping others has died. The Plymouth Fire Department has announced the heartbreaking news of the sudden passing of their colleague, paramedic Brent Stevens, while on duty at the West Plymouth Village Fire Station. Stevens has been a dedicated member of the public safety team as a paramedic for Brewster Ambulance Service, stationed in Plymouth for the past 4 years, and his loss is felt deeply. He's been a paramedic since 2016. Brewster Ambulance stated that Stevens was committed to the team, had compassion for those he served, and had unwavering dedication to his work. Stevens attended Cape Cod Community College and lived on Cape Cod. Emily, Brent's wife, took to social media to make the sad announcement. It's with profound sadness that I share the loss of my husband, Brent Stevens. He was the love of my life, a compassionate friend, and had a wonderful sense of humor. I loved him so deeply, and the hole in our family will never be filled. Please keep Cooper, Brent's dad and siblings, and our entire family in your thoughts and prayers. Details of how we plan to honor his life will be released in the coming days. Flags in front of Town Hall, the police station, and all of Plymouth's fire stations have been lowered to half-staff in honor of Stevens. A cause of death was not released. From the education portion of today's River Reporter, the Fall River Reporter, that is, Fall River Public Schools names Dr. J, quote-unquote, as new principal for BMC Durfee High School by Ken Paiva. In Fall River, Superintendent Tracy Curley has announced that Dr. Jessica Stevens, a longtime educator and leader in the Fall River Public Schools, has been appointed as the new principal of BMC Durfee High School. Known as Dr. J to students, she was appointed as principal effective July 1st following an extensive search process that included multiple members of the school community, according to Curley. She succeeds Matthew Demaray, who has been named Director of Social Studies for Fall River Public Schools. Dr. Stevens brings a wealth of experience, dedication, and passion that will propel her in this new role, Superintendent Curley said. I'm confident her student-centric approach will ensure that Durfee students are well prepared for college, the workforce, or whatever challenge they pursue. It's a humbling honor to receive the opportunity to lead this incredible school community. I believe firmly that all Durfee students and all Durfee staff have unique gifts to share, not only with the Durfee community, but with the world at large, Dr. Stevens said. I'm eager to leverage our current foundation to focus on a systemic culture of achievement and support, a culture where all of us grow to find comfort and a sense of accountability to one another, by aiming to instill a consistent combination of high expectations and grace. I know that we can become the best students, educators, and human beings that we can be. People who always strive to contribute to the greater good and take care of the world around us. Dr. Stevens graduated from the College of the Holy Cross with a bachelor's degree in psychology. She earned her master's in social work from Boston College and her doctorate in education from American International College. She was the Freshman Academy VP before becoming an associate principal at Durfee. From the community section, Bristol County man is identified in fatal highway crash investigated by Massachusetts State Police by Ken Paiva. A Bristol County man has been identified after a recent fatal highway crash. According to Massachusetts State Police, at just after 5:30 p.m. on Friday, Massachusetts state troopers assigned to the Foxborough Barracks responded to a two-vehicle crash on Route 1 in Wrentham that resulted in the death of the operator of one of the vehicles. Preliminary investigation indicates that a 2014 Mercedes CLA sedan was traveling on Route 1 northbound when it attempted an abrupt U-turn from the center travel lane. The second vehicle that was involved, also traveling northbound in the leftmost lane, struck the driver's side of the Mercedes. The driver of the Mercedes, 50-year-old Jose Ocasio of Mansfield, was transported to an area hospital with serious injuries, where he was pronounced deceased. The operator of the second vehicle involved in the crash did not report injuries. Family members were heartbroken over the sudden loss, stating that Jose took a piece of them with him. The crash remains under investigation by Troop H of the Massachusetts State Police and investigators from the Norfolk County State Police Detective Unit. From the causes section of the reporter, Somerset Berkeley High School students raising money for a classmate with stage 4 cancer by Ken Paiva. Community members are coming together for a local team in his time of need. According to family, it all began when 17-year-old Zach Dean wasn't feeling well. After initial treatment with antibiotics failed, additional blood work was completed by his doctor. The results were alarming, and their doctor referred him to Rhode Island Hasbro Children's Hospital immediately. At Hasbro Children's Hospital, further tests revealed the unthinkable. Zach had a rare and very aggressive form of cancer called rhabdomyosarcoma. This cancer started with a mass on his prostate and has since spread to his bones, lungs, and spine, leading to the stage 4 diagnosis. And despite these challenges, Zach remains resilient. Zach loves soccer, and his teammates are coming together to help by hosting a $10 car wash fundraiser on Saturday, that's this Saturday, from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Rose E. Sullivan Funeral Home at 866 County Street in Somerset. If you can't attend the car wash, a GoFundMe fundraiser has been organized by a family member. Zach is currently sick and weak, but those who know him hope that one day he'll be back on the soccer field once again. From the crime section of the Fall River Reporter, today's edition, which is August 8th, by Ken Paiva, the headline reads, "Man reportedly sets fire to Attleboro convenience store after attempted robbery. Police are looking for the public's help to catch a suspect." According to Deputy Chief Timothy D. Cook, Jr., on Tuesday at approximately 11:50 p.m., Attleboro police officers responded to the Lucky Lotto convenience store located at 1077 Washington Street for a reported attempted armed robbery. The clerk reported that a male suspect entered the store, and after briefly walking around, the male suspect exits the store and apparently retrieves a clear glass beer bottle containing a liquid substance. When confronted about the beer bottle by the clerk, the suspect stated that he is there to rob the clerk and threatened to burn down the store if he wasn't given any money. The clerk refused to provide money to the suspect, and the suspect then proceeded to the doorway of the store and emptied the contents of the bottle onto the rug at the threshold of the doorway. The suspect then used a lighter to ignite the fluid and run away. The suspect is reportedly last seen on Washington Street running on foot towards the Pawtucket, Rhode Island line. The ignition of the flammable liquid created a small fire which was extinguished by the clerk. A search of the area for the suspect was conducted by Attleboro Police Patrol units, as well as a canine from the Mass State Police, with negative results. The suspect is described as a light-skinned male, approximately 6 feet to 6'3" tall, of medium build. The suspect wore a black face mask and a hooded sweatshirt with a white Jordan logo. The suspect was wearing black pants with distinctive white markings, black and white sneakers, and was wearing a small black backpack. This is an active and ongoing investigation. Anyone with information may contact the Attleboro Police Department Detective Division at 508-222-1212. Now is a good time to remind you, when we give phone numbers and dates and things that you might not have time to write down, that if you miss any of the information that we share in our readings, you can always go to audiblelocalledger.org, and in the upper right corner is the archived readings tab. This will be changing soon as we launch our new website in the within the next 2 weeks or so. We should have our new website up, and that will be completely disability compliant. But until then, you can go to the Archived Readings tab and click on it, and you'll find a week's worth of our newspaper readings that you can catch up on anything you might have missed with. And we also keep our grocery guides there. So, what's on sale at the grocery store is easily found out. All of that is free for people who are blind or print disabled at audiblelocalledger.org, the Archived Readings tab. And with that, we've come to the end of our reading of today's Fall River Reporter, dated August 8th of 2024. We've only started recently reading the Reporter, and it definitely has a different take. It seems more on the crime beat and the more sensational, shall we say, side of things. We'll continue to read it, and it does seem to be a good synopsis of what's going on the South Coast in terms of community and crime. This is your reader, Eric, saying, be well, be safe, look after each other. Remember our veterans, especially those who we have recently lost. Bye for now.